Who else? There's a lot of famous people doing the Tron cartoon series with you,
Everybody.
right?
Elijah Wood, Mandy Moore, Bruce Boxleitner as Tron, Lance Henriksen.
Wow. Some serious...
Emmanuel Shariki.
Yeah.
Shariki.
Oh, she is in it too.
Yeah, a lot of people.
And do you like work together and everything?
We all lived in a big house. Like,
is that right?
No, not really. No, I hadn't met anybody until the junket, the press junket. A press junket, for those of you who don't know, is where they do all the publicity. You know what it is. They do all the publicity at the same time in one place, and all the reporters and journalists come in one place, and they move the cast through it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did it a few weeks ago at Disney, and I have this thing that I try to do when I do these things, where I try to make up some story that's not really true.
And
also known as a lie.
A lie, yeah.
And I do this for my own kind of enjoyment, and I usually try on the way there to come up with it, and then I kind of like a pearl, you know, I embellish it and embellish and embellish it, because they ask you the same questions all day long.
Yeah, right.
So in order to make it exciting, I lie. So it started many, many years ago. I was being interviewed. I think it was Interview Magazine. I don't remember what it was, but somebody said, "What's next for Pee Wee Herman?" And I heard myself say, "I'm building Pee Wee Land." And it just came out. And they said, "You're kidding me. What are some of the rides?" And I told them I made up a couple of rides. It got printed. And then the next time I did an interview, someone said, "So, I heard all about Pee Wee Land, that one ride, you know," and I kept embellishing it, and it becomes, you know, real to a certain degree. I mean, after about 6 months, I had a phone call from somebody who built shopping centers, who was interested in building Pee Wee Land. So on the Tron one, I wasn't really thinking very clearly. I had stayed out late the night before, and I just barely got there on time, and I forgot to come up with what's my story. So I'm in the first interview, and the first journalist says to me, "So what was your attraction to Tron? How'd you get involved in Tron? Were you a fan of Tron?" And I said, because I had a little toy from Tron, from the original thing. It was a light cycle.
Right.
And so I said, "Oh, well, I have a light cycle. I had a light cycle." And she went, "You have a light cycle?" And honestly, the only thing I did right that day was I realized, wait, this is it. This is my moment. She just did the work for me. She came up with it. So I very quickly went, "Yes, I have a light cycle." And she said, "You're kidding. Did you ride it here?" And I went, "Yeah." So I leave there. We do the rest of the interview. She goes out, another journalist comes in, and they said the same thing. How'd you get involved in Tron? I said, "Well, I have a light cycle." She said, "You're kidding me, you have a light cycle?" The third one came in, light cycle. Then the handler came in. Each one of us had a handler, each one of the cast. So the handler comes in and says, "Okay, we're going to another room." So they walk me downstairs and across a floor and up another stairs and down some stairs. And we come to another door. And I'm standing in front of the door where they're running late a minute or two. And I look down the hall. And at the other end of the hall, I see Lance Henriksen, who I haven't met yet. And I hear him at the end of the hall going, "Yeah, I understand Disney's giving us a light cycle." I'd been there like 30 minutes, and it was already like they'd already done the light cycle. So I did a few more interviews and embellished it even more. And then they took me out of that room, and they took us into what they call a round table, which instead of just one-on-one, it's 20 journalists around a table, and they push their microphones and their tape recorders towards you and start asking you questions. So second or third question, somebody said to me, "So how did you get involved in Tron?" And I said, "Well, I have a light cycle." And they went, "You're kidding me." They all around the room, they were like, "You have a light cycle?" And I said, "Yeah, Disney gave them to the cast." And then I said, "And I understand they're giving them to you guys, all the journalists." So all the journalists were like, in between the things, they were like, "We're getting light cycles, you know?" So this is one of those I love that story stories.
Right.
It doesn't have an ending, but...
That is a good story.
Yeah.
Well, the ending is disappointment.
Yeah.
Paul Reubens is here. We'll be right back. More as Paul when we come back.